Now to Social Security reportedly breaking down. The Washington Post detailing, quote, chaos swamping the agency. Long waits, waves of unanswered calls, and website crashes as voters in town halls are railing against the Elon Musk cuts and office closures.
In terms of Social Security, President Trump has repeatedly stated that he is not cutting Social Security.
The DOGE program
we have the Department of Government Efficiency that is looking at and has some.
For Republicans, this is a political problem, which is why they're nervous about Elon Musk publicly calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme. Today in D.C., senators grilling Trump's nominee to run Social Security.
When you have a system that is not working now, do you think it's a great idea to lay off half of the employees?
I don't know if, do I think it's a great idea to lay off half of the employees when a system doesn't work? I think the answer is probably no.
That's what he is saying, while the White House reportedly demands more changes, including cutting phone services. Critics fear this is a plan to hobble the agency and then use that as a pretext to privatize Social Security, something Trump has mused about, which mirrors changes at the Postal Service. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy had his last day on Monday amid growing reports about Trump's push to privatize the mail service. Joining me now to discuss is April Ryan, Washington bureau chief and senior White House correspondent for Black Press USA and an MSNBC contributor and a fellow Morgan Bear. I always have to mention that when we're on the air together. Yes. So, April, here's the thing. We're going to start with Social Security.
Yes.
It has been a Republican dream to privatize Social Security going back to Reagan, right? Like this is something that anyone who studied sort of Republican theories, we could just get our hands on Social Security. This might be the closest they've ever gotten. And now that they're almost catching the car, they're the dog that caught the car, it looks like the public in general is unhappy. How frightened are Republican members of Congress about what DOJ in this White House are doing to Social Security, potentially?
They're so frightened, Jason, that they don't want to have these town hall meetings. And think about this. As you said, you talked about this goes back to Reagan, but I remember during the George W. Bush years, the last last Republican president before President Trump, they were working on it then. They pulled together a consortium to include the former head of BET, Black Entertainment Television, Bob Johnson, trying to figure out, do we raise the age, how to grapple with this issue of not being able to pay into it after so many years. So now we're here. This has been a phased-in effect. It started with cutting staff. I mean, I'm in Maryland. Literally, I grew up 4 blocks from the Social Security headquarters in Woodlawn, Maryland. So I'm like, Social Security is like in my face. And now, I heard a minister a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine, who said, I had to go to the Howard County, Maryland Social Security local office. He said the lines were wrapped around. It was like a 2-hour wait because they only had 2 people there. This is the first step of cutting. And now they're talking about cutting the phones. And when you call into Social Security, this is the issue. They tell you to go to the local office. So it's a catch-22. It's cyclical. People will be waiting and people want their money. They don't want to hear, go here and not an answer, call here and not an answer.
This is the other thing, April. We may joke, look, if it comes along lines of the government, my first thought is the DMV. We're used to going to the DMV. That's a day trip. Pack yourself a, suitcase, whatever.
Well, they're scheduling people now.
Yes, they're scheduling people, trying to. But when it comes to Social Security, that is something that people need to live, right? They're getting their Social Security checks, getting their Social Security coverage, the questions, retirement, and everything else like that. So what sort of strikes me here, if Republicans are afraid to even have town halls about this, what is the version of Social Security that Elon Musk is pushing for? Is it just we're going to gut it and figure it out on the other side, or do they actually have a plan?
So think about this. All the oligarchs that are around President Trump, they've never had to deal with Social Security. Right. So it doesn't impact him. But what will impact him is those Americans who are calling and not getting answers, those Americans who are going to the Social Security local offices, not getting answers, those Americans who rise up and come together and we the people make a stand, because they are listening when people rally. What happened with Jackie Robinson? What happened with Tuskegee?
Right.
And they definitely are listening because they're watching what's happening to the Tesla cars and the stocks having that Tesla car sale on the White House. They're listening to the people. They're not tone deaf. So it takes the people to rise up for them to make a change.
So I want to play this soundbite right now from Fox News' Bill Hemmer to just get an idea as to how detached some on the right are, and get your thoughts on the other side.
Okay.
And there could be some pain along the way.
Yeah.
But you will be thankful once you go through the tough stuff that you've made a better product for the people who are paying into it.
This reminds me of when Republicans were saying, we should just have group immunity for COVID. You'll come out stronger on the other side as opposed to sick and having long COVID. When you hear these sorts of things, it seems like you've got two different perspectives. You have the sort of inside oligarchs who are like, I just want to get rid of Social Security, doesn't matter. And then you have sort of tone-deaf messengers. What is the immediate consequence of this? Because we're still a year and a half away from any midterm elections. There are all sorts of other things this administration can do. What could be the immediate consequences politically for Republicans in a year where there aren't a lot of elections, but people are extremely angry about this?
The consequences people remember now. We have a short memory, but when you hurt, and that's what I say, if you're hurting enough, you're going to change course.
Right.
So it takes that great hurt. I mean, for Bill Hemmer to say we have to go through some pain, I just look, and you were talking the analogy of COVID. I just had the flu twice since January 29th, and it was the worst thing. I don't think I fared better with it. I came out the other side, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with that again. So it's not a if this, if that. It's the people paid into this. They want their money. End of story. They put their lives on the line and said, this is what's waiting for me at the end of the day. Think about this, 65 years old, and I'm waiting to get my full Social Security benefits, and you call and say there's nothing and you don't have anything else. This is serious. This is just as bad as this war plan gate. It's just akin to that. People and their money.